farewell address.
I was in Grant Park.
Little gal.
Yeah, 10 years old. Now I'm 18. Here, watch him give his farewell speech.
You could watch it on TV.
It's better when you're actually there with the actual president.
Then there's longtime campaign volunteers from across the country.
Colorado,
New Mexico,
Albuquerque, New Mexico,
Maui, Hawaii.
Woohoo!
It is expected to be President Obama's final trip on Air Force One as president. Returning to Chicago, his aides say not to look back, but forward. Former White House senior advisor David Axelrod says it may be difficult for the president to follow former President George Bush's example. Bush rarely weighed in once he left office.
There's going to be a lot of pressure on him to speak out, particularly if there are what he considers egregious affronts to fundamental democratic principles. And I think he'll have to play that by ear.
While some have resold their free ticket to tonight's speech on Craigslist, those waiting here to witness in person say there is no way they'd pass up this moment.
Oh, absolutely not. There's no way.
In fact, Eddie Vedder, he'll be performing tonight as well as the Chicago Children's Choir before the president speaks. And as you notice all these folks walking in with those heavy coats, they're all quite glad that the farewell address will be inside. It's a miserable, cold, rainy day here in Chicago, unfortunately. Reporting live from McCormick Place, Marianne Ahern. Back to you, Jim.
Marianne, thanks so much. Again, you'll be able to watch the president's farewell address right here on NBC4 tonight, starting at 9 o'clock. We invite you to keep it here all evening after for a new episode of This Is Us, followed by News 4 at 11.
This evening, with the National Park crews with the National Park Service are down at the Washington Monument with Pepco, trying to figure out what caused the lights to go out for a second time in a week. Last night's problem included the aviation warning lights. Park Service officials tell us they are assessing the condition of the lines that go into the monument. A live look from our city cam, you can see the lights are on now, and the Park Service says they do not anticipate any issues.
A roadblock for D.C.'s Death with Dignity bill tonight. Congressman Jason Chaffetz says he'll block the city bill that would allow terminally ill patients to end their own lives with a doctor's help. He heads the congressional committee that oversees the district. Mayor Muriel Bowser signed that bill, you'll recall, last month. To overturn the law, both the House and Senate have to vote on a disapproval resolution, and the president would have to sign it.
Prosecutors call it a horrific crime. An infant shaken so severely it led to his death. Tonight, the child's father is in jail facing charges. News 4's Chris Gordon live in Silver Spring with new reaction to this. Chris?
Wendy, the infant died of injuries that he suffered at home right here in this apartment complex on Heather Hollow Circle. It was last October, but just yesterday, his father was arrested and charged with first-degree child abuse in connection with the death of his son. The Special Victims Investigative Division focused on what happened here in this apartment the morning of October 28th. The defendant, 20-year-old Roger Lee Miller Jr., called 911 to report that his infant son was unresponsive. The court charging documents say that 5-month-old Daryl Lee Barnes suffered head trauma. Prosecutors say at one point the defendant, Roger Miller, tried to blame the child's mother, Chanel Barnes, for the infant's death. But she was at work and they ruled her out.
After an autopsy from Children's Medical Center, it was found that there were injuries consistent with severe shaking, severe trauma.
In court, Roger Miller's lawyer says Miller denies that he caused the injuries. The lawyer said Miller has been living with his mother the past 3 months. She came to court to show her support for her son. But the judge ordered Miller to be held with no bond because of the seriousness of the charges against him.
There's plenty good about him. That's all you need to know.
Ahead, what was said in court today about Roger Miller's past, his record prior to these child abuse charges being brought against him for the death of his son. That's the latest live in Silver Spring. Jim, back to you.
Chris Gordon. Chris, thank you.
A popular principal fired after a controversy involving the former band instructor. Well, now parents and students are stepping up their efforts to have him reinstated.
It's one of the fastest growing neighborhoods in Washington.